in the middle of this nightmare for them is China. Because China is the only country in the world that can create an alternative payment system at the international level. It's nowhere near doing it yet in a way that would seriously damage the dollar, but they can see it happening. That is why I think they're prepared to unleash not only economic warfare, like Trump and Biden did, but actual nuclear warfare. Why is China a threat? We all know, here in China you pay with WeChat. In Europe, in America, we pay with Google Pay, with Apple Pay, with all sorts of pay, digital. We know that the power to accumulate has shifted from diesel engines and railways to owning the algorithms. What I call cloud capital in my book, Techno-Feudalism. Which countries own cloud capital? Two.
China and
United States and
China. Yes.
So China is becoming a competitor to the United States in the realm of in the type of capital, which is now giving maximum power to whoever owns it. But that's not the whole story. Now we have something else. Chinese banks and Chinese big tech, and I think WeChat is a very good example, have merged. So you can make payments using WeChat and you don't pay for it. WeChat doesn't withhold a percentage for you to make payments. In Europe, in the United States, if I pay with Google Pay, Apple Pay, a certain cut goes to the bank. The bankers in America, Wall Street, and big tech, what I call cloud capital, are not collaborating. They're refusing to collaborate. Why? Because the bankers do not want to share their banking ranks with big tech, with Silicon Valley. So they're clashing. So the dollar payment system is fragmented because of this clash between the business interests of Wall Street and the business interests of the owners of cloud capital. In China, because you have state regulation, I'll be blunt, because you have a Communist Party telling the bankers what the limits are and telling Tencent and Alibaba and so on what the limits are. Chinese cloud capital and Chinese finance have merged into what I call cloud finance. It's seamless. If you add to that another great advantage that China has, it's the digital renminbi, the digital currency of the central bank, of the People's Bank of China, which is a magnificent tool. Because if everybody has one account with a digital wallet belonging to the state, to the central bank, essentially you're free of the bankers. The bankers will have to find ways of convincing you to put money in the bank, right? Because you don't need them anymore. You can make transactions using the digital currency that the central bank gives you, right? So this really increases the efficiency of what I call cloud finance, creates competition for the bankers, and poses as an alternative to the dollar. Because think of it, take a German producer of some spare part. The example that I like to give, because it's a real example, is propellers, large propellers for ships that are built here in a shipyard near Shanghai somewhere. The metal, the aluminium or the steel is produced in China. It goes to Germany. There it becomes a propeller and comes back to China. If you're the German producer of the propellers, before the digital renminbi, you had to buy the metal from China, which means you would have to tell Deutsche Bank, to tell the Bundesbank, to tell the ECB, to tell the Fed, to tell the People's Bank of China, to tell the private banker here, to the producer of metal, that a certain amount of money has gone through. Every time, with every such node, you pay something, right? And you give control to the Americans, who are in the middle of this chain. And then, when the metal comes and you produce the propeller and you send it back, the Chinese shipyard has to go through this whole process again to pay you. But with a digital account that the People's Bank of China produces, the German manufacturer can have an app also. It's not confined to Chinese citizens, right? And you press one button and you pay, and the shipyard pays another button and gets paid. Of course, in renminbi, not in dollars. As long as the German manufacturer has business with China, maybe wants to buy a Chinese electric vehicle or Chinese solar panels, then why use the dollar system? That is a clear and present danger to the hegemony of the United States. I mean, this is the reason why the new Cold War is being unleashed against China. Let's say you're a Saudi sheikh, right? And you have lots of oil money, petrodollars. You think the Americans confiscated $450 billion from the Russians. Well, maybe they won't like me tomorrow, and maybe they will confiscate my dollars. So what you do is you don't put all your money in the Chinese superhighway, but you put some. You hedge your bets, right? The Americans see that, and suddenly they can see that their very old-fashioned, fragmented, backward payment system, which was the only one in the world, now has a superhighway competing with it. They are prepared to start a nuclear war to stop the shift, the transfer of funds, of transactions from their highway to the Chinese superhighway, because they know that the moment that transfer takes place, then American hegemony is finished.